Hey, 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 it's your girl, Miz Jade, the queen of shade. She, her, they, them pronouns. I am a Brooklyn-based drag performance artist, and I stomp and dance and swirl the house down. When I'm not dancing at the clubs and at the bars, during the daytime, I actually work as a dance and dance fitness instructor for kids and adults. Now, I know what you're thinking. Girl, you're twirling, you're limber, you're dancing all the time, you are good to go. And at the drop of a hat, you are ready to twirl and do some turns and high kicks. No, I am not. You can't just jump into a split if your muscles are not warm and ready to go. It does not work like that. You need a proper warm up to get all the ligaments and tendons ready to move. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can warm up the body and get ready to twirl and serve at the clubs or anywhere, honestly. A few reasons why you should always warm up your body before you do any kind of intense movement. 1, when you warm up the body, you increase your body temperature, obviously. What that does is it brings those red blood cells filled with oxygen to those muscles that need it. Makes sense, right? Another thing that it does is adds elasticity to those muscles. Doing this prevents strain, tears, and injuries. You don't want to pull a muscle at the venue. You don't. Another really important thing that warming up your body does is it puts you in the zone. For me, it's a very meditative state. It really centers me. It not only centers me mentally, but it also centers me where my weight is. We need to find the equilibrium where we're gonna be using it on our feet, in sneakers, in heels, in our boots. So here are a few warm-ups that I do in order to be ready to twirl. The first one I'm going to talk about is parallel knee raises. Now, you can totally feel free to do this while balancing on one leg, or you can hold onto a wall or a partner, whatever is clever. You want to have your legs about shoulder width apart, parallel, which means your toes and your knees are both facing forward. What you're going to do is lift one knee to the chest as high as you can. So you're going to lift your knee up while the other leg remains straight. What I like to do is I like to think about engaging my ab muscles, my core, and I'm always going to make sure that I am breathing as well to make sure the oxygen is flowing freely. And I'm going to do this 20 times on one leg, bring both legs down, and then try on the other side. Repeat the same thing. You can do this slow and at your own pace. There is no reason to rush this. Never, ever, ever rush your warm up. You want to start with light movement and build to more strenuous movement, especially when we're working on tiny, tiny muscle groups like this. We're isolating the hip flexor and the psoas muscle. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remain in this parallel position. I'm going to lift my leg to the side while keeping my foot flexed. So just a gentle raise to the side. 2 options. You can lift this up and keep it up while pulsing for 20 times, or you can bring it up and then bring it down. Whatever is clever and easy for you, do that. Again, repeating the same thing on the other leg once you finish those 20 parallel leg lifts. Next, this is gonna be a silly name. I call this booty lifts. What I'm doing here is that same idea of the leg lift, but I'm isolating my hip only. So what I'm going to do is sit into one leg while the other leg is lifted off the floor. I'm going to sit and lift, sit and lift, sitting and lifting. This is going to be interesting. It looks silly, but I promise you it's going to really warm up the glute muscles that you often kind of ignore. At first, you might not feel this. It might not feel like anything, but the longer you do this, the more attention you're bringing to those tiny, tiny muscles, and you're gonna definitely feel this. It's gonna give you a little burn, and it's gonna burn so good, honey. Now that we've done some parallel movement, I like to turn my legs out. We are going to do the same knee raises, but this time we're gonna turn them turned out. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand with your toes pointed out to the side. We would call this in a classical dance position, first position. They should make a nice V. Here, I'm going to think about drawing the heel of one foot up to the knee of the opposite foot. Trying to get that leg that's lifting, that knee as high as possible. Again, 20 times on this leg, dropping that leg down and doing the other side as well. Again, you are going to be working the hips and psoas muscle, and you're going to really feel this. This is going to be great because you might be wanting to do those high leg lifts, and what better way to make sure the leg can go up than making sure the knee can go up first. Now, we are going to do leg swings. You're going to stay in this turned out position. Bring the toe back of the working leg while the standing leg remains as straight as possible. In a dance way of thinking, I would tell people to think about their heel going forward and their toe going back. It does not need to be high. This is just to warm up the muscles and swing that leg to and fro. 20 times going front and back, dropping it, and doing the same thing on the other leg. Try not to let that standing leg wobble or move. You want to pull up on that standing leg, which is really important. A way to make sure you can do that is, again, leaning on a wall or something sturdy to make sure you're not going to swing both hips. You're swinging one hip at a time. Now that we've done this with our heel going forward and toe going back, we're going to think about doing this rotated and swinging from side and across the body. So you can start with that leg behind you once again, but this time you're going to think about your knee going up to your ear as high as possible and swinging, bringing the knee turned in. Very different than what we worked on before. This is going to still focus on those hips and thighs and booty. The leg swings are going to be perfect for those of us who want to do high kicks and or splits. But it's also just important to just let the hips drop and swing, and that just adds elasticity to the hips and groin muscles. Again, repeat on the opposite side. I also like to do parallel leg squats. I know this is supposed to be warm up, not a workout, but I think squats are really important because we're bending our knees and stretching our legs. Make sure the legs are wider than shoulder width apart. We're going to stick our booty back as far as we can while bending the knees, keeping the heels on the floor. We're going to bend, try to sit back in a chair, and then stretch and thrust your hips forward. This again will add flexion to the hip flexors, but also eccentric movement as well. This is going to be great for us because it's going to warm up the hamstrings and the quads and the butt. I know I'm focusing a lot on the lower part of the body, but for me, as a dancer and a mover, I think that's super important. It's more likely that you're going to sprain or pull a hamstring or a groin versus than a shoulder or lat. My last thing I like to do is butt ups. Stay in that parallel position, but we're going to squat down and put our forearms on the top of the thigh. What you're going to do here is try to arch your back and stick your butt back as far as possible. Arch that booty up, honey. Stick it up to the gourds. What you're going to do is stretch and bend, all while pushing the thighs with the forearms. This is going to increase the flexibility in the hamstrings, which again is really important for those of us who want to dance and twirl. Now, these are all warm-ups. A lot of people think stretching is what's important before you do movement, and I'm here to tell you that that's not 100% true. When you're stretching, you are elongating these muscles, but we can't elongate these muscles unless that body temperature is higher and there's elasticity to those muscles and ligaments and joints. So it's important that you do a warm up before you stretch. Now, you can stretch right after your warm up, or if you're dancing or performing all night, do it at the end of the gig. Trust me, you'll see the benefits and you'll be giving your body a little bit of TLC. I promise you, if you do these simple movements, your body, your mind will be ready to dance all night, perform in any venue, on every and any floor you come across. But remember, take care of yourself. Yes, warming up is important. Yes, stretching is important. But so is massage. So is hot Epsom salt baths, right? Again, we're asking our body to do so many different things. And I implore everyone to take care of themselves post-giggery, honey. Please. Your body will thank you. Again, my name is Miz Jade, Brooklyn-based drag performer, dancer, actor, singer, reader, educator. And YouTube sensation, yeah. A huge thank you to Max Pleasure for having me. What an honor. I hope you all learned something and you take my tips and apply them to your regular regimen. Have an incredible day and keep slaying. Okay. Bye.